If you're planning a move to the Raleigh, North Carolina area, or maybe you're in a rental here already and can't decide which town is the best fit for you, well, today you're in luck. Today's video is all about giving you an idea of what cities in the Raleigh area are absolutely the best place for you based on your personality. Hello everyone, this is Chris Morton, real estate broker with the Morton Bradbury Real Estate Group. So let's get into it. So this afternoon I ran into a viewer of our channel here, hello out there, who stopped me and asked me what city I recommended he and his family move to that's going to be the best investment for him and make him and his family the happiest. So after I went through a lot of the details and gave him some options of good places for him, it got me thinking that this is probably a topic that a lot of people out there are curious about. Where do I think you would best fit in the Raleigh Triangle area? Well, I've really broken it down into three different categories of cities that you could think to move to. Those would be the established cities, the emerging cities, and the up-and-comers. So we're going to quickly go through what all of these different categories are, some great examples of cities that fall in these categories, and then that will let you think about which of these categories sound more like your personality and give you a good idea where you need to be moving to. So first off, let's start off with the established cities. So in the established cities, there's really not a lot of change going on. Pretty much any new construction that's happening in the established cities is the result of something else that's been torn down. For example, a 1 or 2 story building has been taken down and a high-rise building is now in its place. And this is the same thing with housing. By and large, in these established cities, the only way you're going to have new construction happen is if some builder or you buys a current existing house, tears it down to the ground, and then builds a brand new house on that lot. So examples of established cities are Raleigh, Cary, Durham, and Chapel Hill, the 4 biggest cities actually in the Triangle. These cities are still seeing new construction happening, but again, you're seeing that new construction happen because something else has been torn down. A great example of this would be the North Hills district redevelopment that's happening, where they tore down the JCPenney that was there and they're putting high-rise buildings in its place, or University Mall in Chapel Hill that's been demolished in parts and they're building different high-rise buildings and apartments around University Mall. Housing appreciation in these cities is fairly steady, not a lot of rapid jumps, but also not a lot of rapid declines either. The positives of these established cities are, number one, you know what you're getting. It's an established city. As well, the landscaping and the trees are mature and those are established as well. Another positive, there's less construction noise going on because there's less construction going on in the established cities. On the other hand, the negatives of the established cities include the cost of construction, especially for housing, is higher than in some of the other newer cities that are up and coming because, again, to get a new construction home in one of the established cities, you're likely having to buy an existing home, tear it down, and put your home on that lot. That's going to cost a lot more money than going out and buying a lot that has never been built on in the past in one of the up-and-coming cities. As well, another negative, there's just not a lot of exciting changes going on in the established cities. If you're a big fan of the coming soon signs, you're not going to see very many of those in the established cities. Bottom line, the established cities are perfect for you if you don't like a lot of surprises. You want to go to the bagel shop that you've been going to for many years, and that bagel shop has been there for 25 years and it's going to be there for 25 more years, and you're just not really looking to experiment. You have what you like and you like what you have and you're happy with it. The next category of cities is the emerging cities. And so the emerging cities are sort of right there in the middle. They're not established and nothing much going on, and they're not like this crazy go growth that you see in those cities on the rise. The emerging cities have arrived in that lots of people live there. It's a safe bet. It's going to continue thriving and continue moving on and growing, but there's still some growth and change to come. These cities are seeing new growth and new development, so they're not exactly the steady eddies of the established cities, but they're definitely moving towards becoming established cities. Again, these are proven places that people want to live. You're not rolling the dice and experimenting with your finances and not sure if this is going to work out, and it's not that much of a ground floor opportunity like you're seeing in the cities on the rise. Housing appreciation is increasing in these cities. Again, not as slowly as you're seeing in those established cities, but also not as crazy go as the cities on the rise. Examples of these emerging cities include Apex, Wake Forest, Rolesville, Clayton, and Fuquay-Varina. These cities are still seeing new development happen, such as the Wegmans that opened in the not too distant past in Wake Forest, and the new shopping center across the street from Wegmans with the Cava and the Torchies and One Medical and all the stuff that's going on over there. As well, there's still a lot of new construction happening in Wake Forest, as well as all of the emerging cities. The positive of the emerging cities includes it's a sure thing. Lots of people have been moving to these emerging cities. You're not rolling the dice and risking things by moving here. It's really pretty much a proven commodity. And another positive, lots of new and exciting things are popping up in these cities all the time. Expect exciting opportunities for dining out, shopping, and in general just having a good time in the emerging cities. The negatives of the emerging cities include construction is still going on in these cities, so expect delays on the road or when you're trying to get into shopping centers, that sort of thing. And another negative, change can be stressful if you're not really expecting it. And that's really what's been happening in these emerging cities. Lots of people have lived there for many, many years when they were small towns, and now they're getting bigger and bigger. I'm thinking about Fuquay-Varina and Wake Forest for that matter. And the locals who've been there a long time really aren't used to all of the hubbub and activity that's going on in these emerging cities. Bottom line, the emerging cities are perfect for you if you're sort of middle of the road. You don't like to take big risks with your money, your finances, or your housing, but you like new things. You like seeing those coming soon signs that pop up here and there in the emerging cities. It's sort of the best of both worlds, not too hot, not too cold, just kind of perfectly in the middle. The next group of cities to tell you about are also the most exciting cities to tell you about. We call these the cities on the rise. These are the cities where home buyers go by the motto, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Rapid growth, lots of new construction, lots of shops, lots of new restaurants are popping up in the cities on the rise practically every single day. These are the kind of places where you would grow up in these towns, go away to college, come back and have no clue how to get around the town because it's grown up into becoming a city. Lots of new residential neighborhoods are popping up in these cities on the rise. People who want a ground floor opportunity and to take advantage of relatively lower prices than you're going to find in some of the more established cities would flock to the cities on the rise. The positive of all this, again, is that you could buy into a ground floor opportunity where prices are relatively low and be able to afford a much larger, nicer house than you could possibly buy in one of the established cities. The negative flip side of that is you may be buying into a neighborhood that maybe falls out of favor in the resale market. Maybe it didn't really go off as well as the developer thought it was going to. But that's not something you would ever know if you get in as one of the first few houses in a neighborhood. It's sort of a roll the dice situation. Now, does this happen very often? Honestly, no, it does not. By and large, most neighborhoods are successful in our area. Worst case scenario, some new developer comes in and fixes the mistakes that the goofball original developer came up with, and things go along smoothly. But it's still a risk. It's still something you've got to prepare yourself for. That are you a true risk taker, or do you want to be more of one of those steady eddies? Cities on the rise include Wendell, Garner, Pittsboro, Knightdale, and Angier. Wendell is a great example of a city on the rise in that there's explosive growth going on around the Wendell Falls community area. You're seeing residential pop up, you're seeing commercial pop up around there, and it's really having a great impact on the city of Wendell. Also, another great example would be Pittsboro. Pittsboro started off as a relatively small little town, but now Chatham Park, this mega neighborhood with commercial inside and Disney's even coming to it, has really exploded, and it's rapidly transforming Pittsboro into a much larger city than it was just a few years ago. Housing appreciation for the cities on the rise is rapidly increasing currently because people that move there are moving to a ground floor opportunity, often further out from the city center than you would find in the more established cities. And because of that, they're getting in at a lower rate, but because things are growing, the people that come in a year or so after them are likely to see prices much higher than what they paid when they got in early on. The positives of the cities on the rise include, again, getting in on a ground floor opportunity, likely paying less money for your house than someone next year or the year after or the year after that is going to have to pay. Another positive of the cities on the rise, lots of exciting things are happening all the time. Businesses are popping up, restaurants are popping up. Almost overnight, you're seeing growth and change happen in the cities on the rise. The negatives of the cities on the rise include possibly your neighborhood that you've moved into may not be the hottest place in the world to move until some of that growth happens, and growth could take a while to happen. And along those same lines, another negative is you may wait a while before all of those conveniences that you're used to in your past city, like the Starbucks, the Chipotle, etc., it may take a while for them to get to one of the cities on the rise. You may have to either do without or drive into a more established city to get your Starbucks fix. A great example of this is Wendell. For a very long time, people in Wendell didn't even have a grocery store in that Wendell Falls area. They had to either go into town into one of the smaller grocery stores, or they had to drive about 10 to 15 minutes into Knightdale to go to those grocery stores. Super inconvenient, but it was something that you just sort of dealt with because you were getting in on a ground floor opportunity. Now, Publix is in Wendell, Starbucks is in Wendell, and on and on and on. Lots of cool stuff is around that Wendell Falls area. And as well, going into the downtown, that's getting massively renovated and restructured, and new growth happening there all the time as well. So again, people had to put up with not having anything and having to drive to get to things. Now, eventually, after a few years, it's finally all starting to come around, and they're not having to drive as far. They just drive up the street to get their Starbucks fix. Another big negative of the cities on the rise, road construction, building construction, all of that, cones and construction is something you're going to have to live with for a very long time as these cities go from being a tiny little hamlet into a larger, more established city. Bottom line, the cities on the rise are perfect for you if you're a risk taker. Again, if your favorite motto is nothing ventured, nothing gained, cities on the rise may be what you are looking for. And of course, if you love seeing coming soon signs all over your city, cities on the rise are very likely to be the place for you. So if you're considering a move either into or out of the Triangle area, my real estate team and I would be honored to be your agents of choice. You can email us at hello@mortonbradbury.com. Give us a call on the number below, or click on the link in the description to get things started. We'll be happy to help you out. Check out this video. We think you're really going to like this one as well. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.